Hello everybody, Gamer Z here, back after 2 weeks of no content. I've been really busy these past couple weeks and I've had no time to get any content out whatsoever, so I'm doing it in the middle of the week. Hopefully. Because I started editing this video at the end of Wednesday, so it might not be done till, well, whenever it gets done. But hopefully I'll be able to produce more content this week to make up for the content that I missed last week. The person we'll be covering today is Sefraca. She's a female gamer who plays on the PS4 regularly, and she believes in this video that exclusives are a good thing for consoles. To clear up my beliefs very cleanly and concisely at the beginning of this video, I will say briefly that I don't believe exclusives are anti-consumer. Nobody's forcing you to buy them, nobody's forcing you to buy the console, alright? The games are just there on the console that you must buy the platform first before you play them. That is not anti-consumer. That is really good for business, actually. However, it's only good if you're wearing a suit, which means it's anti-gamer, not anti-consumer. The reason why we PC gamers don't like exclusives is because it divides the gaming community. And besides adding more money to the people wearing suits at the game development headquarters and as well as the overlord's office at Sony and Microsoft, there is no benefit to the gamers, which is why we PC gamers don't like that. With this out of the way, I hope not to spend too much time on this video, and therefore I can get more shorter videos out. Thank you for being patient with me, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Hi my fellow gamers, and welcome back to another video on my channel.
Let me stop you right here. When you say fellow gamers, that assumes that our communities are together. But with exclusives, they aren't. We're not able to enjoy the same experiences you guys are, and vice versa. While we can still be friends with you guys, obviously, there's no connection, and that's the problem.
Today I want to take a closer look at the ridiculous console and PC war.
The reason why you're saying it's ridiculous, I'm assuming, is because the PC is obviously better than consoles in objective manners, though in subjective manners it could be different. I know I come off as a guy that seems to be pro-PC, PC elitist, PC fanboy, whatever. The truth is, I don't give a fuck. You can play on whatever console you want to, whatever platform you want to, and I don't care. What I do care about is people who are misinformed talking about things that they don't know anything about, which in this case is, of course, PC. When you start saying that consoles are better for objective reasons, you are starting to mislead other people and the industry itself. You are putting a blindfold on that industry, and it is not true that the consoles are better than the PC. The PC is leading the tech industry. Not even for the sake of argument should you say that the console is better than the PC. It objectively is not.
And more specifically, I want to find out if exclusives are anti-consumer.
But you already seem to have an opinion on it, so you already found out. Let's roll the credits. Just kidding.
As we all know, PlayStation is the dominating console when it comes to exclusives.
Keyword, dominating console, not dominating platform.
An incredible amount of people bought a PS4 to play their first-party games like the most recent Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Uncharted 4, or Bloodborne, only to name a few.
First mistake of the day. Here's the thing. First-party exclusive games are games that are exclusive to a platform that are developed by a company who makes the platform that they are exclusive to. In layman's terms, Sony has to make the game, not contract with them, but Sony themselves have to make the game for their console in order for it to be a first-party exclusive. To make it a third-party exclusive, a random development company, for example Naughty Dog or Platinum Games, the people that made Nier Automata, come up to contract with Sony, or vice versa, Sony comes up to contract with them, and then try to work out a deal to get the game only on their console. They do this in order to benefit the console in sales, but they don't do it to benefit the gamers. To bring the train back on the tracks, the examples you've named are third-party exclusives, not first-party exclusives. And I'm going to make this distinction clearer as the video goes on. This distinction is incredibly important to understand because it's the key to my argument, which of course I'll unravel throughout the video.
The reason why they are exclusives in the first place is pretty obvious, namely to raise sales.
And the only people that help, of course, are the people in suits.
Let's take a look at Nintendo, for example.
And here comes the importance of that distinction.
The reason why people own Nintendo consoles is simply because of their famous franchises like Smash Bros., Mario Kart, or Zelda.
Which, keep in mind, Nintendo themselves made those games.
The Switch is actually the best example for that. There were literally no games out on Switch yet, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that made people buy the console.
Here's where I'm going to explain the importance of the distinction between first-party exclusives and third-party exclusives. We'll take Nintendo for example, just for the sake of argument. Nintendo makes their own games and their own platforms. So it would make sense that their games only go on their platforms, because, you know, they have the right to do that. When it comes to paying off other developers to put their games exclusively on a console that they did not make, for the benefit of the console itself, that's not okay. That is not cool. Now, I'm not sure how exclusive deals work exactly, so take this with a grain of salt. But usually, to my knowledge, game developers do not make as much money as they would if they just released their games on all platforms instead of buying up the exclusive deal with the company that made it. So not only do third-party exclusive games divide the gaming community, but they also take away the potential profits of a game developer for the only reason to benefit your own console. This is why third-party exclusive deals are a really bad business practice. Because what ends up happening is 50,000 plus players on the PC are willing to buy a game, namely Bloodborne, that the developers for Bloodborne could easily profit at least $1 million in the first week. The PC market is incredibly profitable, and barring developers from that market for the sole benefit of your own console, it's greedy, it's shady, and it's divisive.
It's not about the specs when people decide to buy a console, but about the exclusive content.
No, Sony and Microsoft want you to think that it's not about the specs when they make exclusive deals for the console that they make. Microsoft and Sony, as much as it really sucks to hear, they don't want to upgrade their consoles. They don't want to spend so much money finding out how to make different parts, innovating in technology. They don't want to do all that. So the only redeeming quality for the consoles are the exclusives that they make developers basically provide to them. Those developers then have a short-term gain and a long-term loss. Remember, the PC market and the other side of the equation, you know, the Xbox, they would really love to buy the games from PS4. Just imagine if the developers on PS4 just paid the early termination fee of their contract, signing them to their PlayStation. They would get a lot more money in returns, just from the sheer number of people that are willing to buy that game.
If console gamers wanted to play a game in 4K with 60 FPS, they'd be playing on PC.
Or they'll overhype the Scorpio and say that it'll do native 4K, 60 FPS, beautiful graphics, because, you know, those console peasants don't want to be on the PC. They don't want to get that overcomplicated drivers issues, multi-platform experience on the PC. Nobody wants that trash. I mean, that's the reason why they're console gamers, isn't it? To enjoy that simplified, restrictive nature of the consoles.
Another reason people decide to play on console is the simplicity of it.
Meh. You say simplicity and I say restrictive nature. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to use a computer.
You don't have to upgrade a console or stuff like that.
Well, you don't have to upgrade a PC either. Hell, I've been with this, again, I'll bring it up as many times as I need to. I've been with this 2012 pre-built Dell Inspiron 3737 laptop, and I can barely get 60 FPS on modern games, but I'm still with it. Why? Because upgrading is optional, alright? On consoles, you don't get any of the new games unless you upgrade to the new console. To some people, that's not considered an upgrade, it's considered a new generation. But yeah, that's what an upgrade is. On PC, it's not like that. You could stick with the same PC for 12 years and still be able to play games that are new, old, or in between.
When you play on console, you just want to turn it on and play your game without worrying about anything else.
See, this is the kind of rhetoric from console players that makes me a part of the said PC master race. Like, I cannot remember one time that I've turned on my PC and worried about something going wrong. Gee, I wonder if my house is gonna explode. Or, gee, I wonder if I have to upgrade my drivers. Or, gee, I wonder if my computer's gonna turn on at all. No, it's turned on the last 1,000 times I've turned it on. This is not gonna be any different unless I've kicked it across the room. It's going to work. And for the off chance that it doesn't work, you have the option to fix that yourself. Or you also have the option to take it in. But with consoles, the only option you have is to take it in. That's where PC differs from consoles. The option to do it yourself.
If you, however, prefer to make the best of your games and you like mods, for example, PC is the right thing for you. Simple as that.
Yes, that argument is simple, but not as simple as turning on a PC. Push a button, boom, it turns the fuck on. Like seriously, I don't even know why that was an argument. How the hell can you be worried about something happening when you turn on a PC? Even when booting up games, I don't have any problems whatsoever. And this is on like a, 3-year-old PC? A 3-year-old pre-built laptop? That's what makes it worse here, people. 3-year-old pre-built laptop. No GPU.
Exclusives work primarily as system sellers. Sony knows that, and that's why they get in so many small studios that make games exclusively for PlayStation.
When they could be making much more money if they didn't sign that contract? When Sony could just upgrade their consoles? Or hell, even make their own games? I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't divide gaming communities. Exclusive games, in particular third-party exclusive games, do.
For many small studios, its only advantage is to become a first-party studio because of the financial support. Sony can advertise games like no small studio ever could. This way, they get international recognition.
Trust me, I'm sure if Naughty Dog advertised the Uncharted series or the Last of Us series, it would still get bought without Sony's advertising campaign. And they did not need the financial support from Sony in order to make those dreams come true. Hell, they could have done a Kickstarter campaign, they could have run a GoFundMe, maybe a Raise Me. Sure, in the short term, this exclusive deal worked, but now they're stuck. Now they can't make any more profits from any other market that wants to buy their games.
One could say that it limits the sales to publish a game on only one platform, but I don't think that it's true.
Look at all the people on forums, on petition sites, everywhere. They're asking for games to be released on the PC so that they can buy them. And with that many signatures on every game that is petitioned for, you would expect that those developers would get bank if they just released a port for PC. Just imagine all of these people that are willing to buy this game, but Naughty Dog is stuck in a contract with Sony, and they can't sell those games to PC gamers that are willing to buy the game. Like, PC players want to buy those games. I don't understand how it wouldn't be a financial benefit if they stopped doing the exclusive deals.
Uncharted Drake's Fortune sold 2.6 million copies, whereas Uncharted A Thief's End sold more than 8.7 million copies. It takes time to build a fan base of a certain IP. The sales were still a lot with the first installment, while the sales more than tripled with A Thief's End. It's questionable if Naughty Dog could have sold as many copies without the support of PlayStation.
And I've already addressed this. This point is fair enough, I suppose. But at the point that Naughty Dog is already, as well as a bunch of other development companies that are contracted with Sony, they don't need to be partnered with Sony anymore. Honestly, the people on PC, the people on Xbox, they know how well the developers on PS4 are. They know how well those games perform. They know how well the story lanes are made, how well the games are made themselves. They know that already now. So if they just cut the deal with Sony, they can buy themselves out of the contract and make a ton more money. Again, I'm not sure how these exclusive deals work, but Naughty Dog's already turned 18. It's time to let him out of the house. He's able to fend for himself. He's built a reputation that can't be buried, okay? Gamers love Naughty Dog. They love their games. Naughty Dog is really famous among gamers. So if you let this beast be free, he can make a lot more money than if he's stuck with Sony. Because remember, a lot of the people who own Sony platforms and already bought the game on their Sony platforms no longer need to buy the game. Naughty Dog can open up to a much more open market full of more people willing to buy the games, and they can have another inflow of cash.
What I noticed is that it's often PC gamers who complain that exclusives are limited to consoles. This is not true.
Of course it's not true, but also understand that no other PC gamer has said that. You made up that argument and then refuted it like it was nothing, because of course it was nothing. What PC gamers have said is that it divides the gaming community and it's a very shady business practice that shouldn't be practiced anymore. Now, while these deals can help smaller gaming developers come into more reputable, more well-renowned gaming developers, the fact that they are eternally sucked into this one contract is ridiculous. Of course, they need to be able to open up to the other markets outside of their contract. That should be something that they are able to do. If Naughty Dog right now was to release Uncharted 4 for the PC, they would be able to buy themselves out of their contract at least 2 times. Also, look at all the very successful indie games that have come out on Steam. Steam doesn't advertise for anybody. They just put the games on Steam and let the advertising and the relevance and the charts speak for themselves. Just look at Enter the Gungeon or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. You know, look at all these games that have made the Steam charts and they haven't even advertised a single time. And they're not held by a contract, which means if they wanted to, they could make a port for consoles. But they would have to go through the blood work of getting a port to consoles because, you know, you can't make any software that harms the consoles. They have to go through rigorous tests and make sure nothing's broken. But technically speaking, if Brandon Green wanted the game Battlegrounds on the console, he easily could. Easily, relatively speaking. But it is not an exclusive game is what I'm trying to say.
Half-Life, for example, is a PC exclusive.
Here comes the distinction again. See, Valve made Half-Life 2. Valve also made Steam, the only place where Half-Life 2 is available. Since they own the rights to the game and to the service in which they distribute that game, to me they're allowed to do that. Why should they be forced to put it on other platforms for the sake of breaking that exclusive barrier? But for other games that are, quote, exclusive on the PC, take for instance again Battlegrounds, they're not exclusive, they haven't been signed to a contract or anything. They could easily put it on console if, one, the game could run on console, because, you know, if it can't run, then what's the point on putting it on console? And two, if the developers are willing to put in the blood work of going through the checks and the testing and the port transferring and whatever else they have to do in order to develop that game for consoles.
Or just think about the endless amount of games on Steam that never make it to console.
Yes, we do have a variety of games that don't make it to consoles. Why? I can name 3 reasons off the top of my head. 1. Performance. Consoles are they are too outdated to handle any modern games on the PC. 2. Control layout. The console controller is not ideal for many games on the PC. And 3, of course, is they don't want to go through the blood work of getting a game on console, as I've mentioned before. Another reason I guess you could include are first-party exclusives, but of course I don't take any problem with those because the people who make the games and the people who make the service to distribute those games are allowed to distribute those games that they make on their own platform only.
There are actually a lot more games that only come out on PC than on console because it's more developer friendly.
Also, you can do a lot more things with your game in terms of performance and graphics and such, because the PC, on especially the higher end PCs, are more technically advanced than the consoles, that those consoles wouldn't allow you to make those graphical innovations or those gameplay innovations that require a lot more than what the consoles have.
It's fairly easy to publish a game on Steam if you're creating your own. If you want to publish the same game on console, you first have to port it and also have to pay fees to PlayStation or Xbox in order to publish it. That's one reason why indie games don't often make it to console.
Which is a good way to defend exclusives for PC. The justifications for exclusives on PC are better than the justifications for console exclusives. See, PC doesn't need a contract for developers to only develop for this platform in order to be successful. The PC has other redeeming qualities other than games, if you could count games as a redeeming quality on consoles.
Having said that, I don't think that exclusives are anti-consumer. Nintendo, as well as Xbox or PlayStation, want to give the players a reason to play on console.
Without advancing technology, being lazy, effectively holding back the gaming industry and the tech industry as a whole. See, game developers can't do much with the consoles. Red Faction I don't think would run on the consoles if there was a remake of it with modern day technology. Battlegrounds I don't think would run at a steady 30 FPS, just because of the amount of people on the game at once. That's why games as interesting as those are made on the PC and not on the consoles. Because on the consoles they would not be able to make those kinds of games, they would not be able to innovate. And consoles are holding back the gaming industry because of those reasons. Which, yes, you heard me, third-party exclusives are one of the reasons why console is holding back the tech industry. It's just a lazy way to sit back and watch the lifespan of your console extend artificially.
A reason to play on console. One of these reasons are exclusives.
Yes, it's a half-assed, lazy way to get people to play on consoles. It artificially expands the lifespan of those consoles instead of, doing the right thing, which is advancing the tech industry, making your hardware not hold back innovation.
Even if I was a PC gamer, I'd probably get a PS4 just to play games like The Last of Us.
Why? I wouldn't. Why would you spend upwards of $200 on a console, plus $60 for the game, just to play 1 or 2 games on a console that you don't prefer? Yeah, that makes total, logical, financial, consumerical sense. And yes, I just made up the word consumerical, deal with it.
I think it's absolutely worth it to buy a console for these type of games. Consoles aren't even that expensive compared to a PC.
Oh, here we go again.
You can get a standard PS4 for as little as €200. You couldn't even get a proper graphic card for that.
What about AMD's Radeon RX 480 for $239? What about the 1050 Ti for only $134? Or if you're going to go on the cheap end, you can get the Radeon R7 240 for $79.99. Mind you, 2 of these options that I've provided are cheaper than the PS4. If you have a decent PC already, just stick one of those babies in there and you'll have a better gaming experience than you would if you didn't have a GPU in there. And in some cases, say you have a really good CPU that won't bottleneck your GPU, you might even have a better experience than if you were to buy a console. Not only that, but there are plenty of games that meet the expectations and standards of low-end PC gamers. Also, don't tell other people what a decent GPU is, okay? That is all up to them, and it all depends on what they want to play. If they want to play high-quality games like The Witcher 3, Star Citizen 2, and other games like that require high specs, then yeah, a decent GPU would be maybe a 1080. But for me and the games that I play at this moment in time, of course, I don't even need a GPU. I get along just fine without a GPU on my pre-built laptop. What you don't understand, Sefraca, is that PCs are much more diverse than consoles are. You have more choices, more options, more things to get suited to. You know, you don't have a console, just a choice between Xbox or PlayStation. You have many more choices, and it all depends on what games you like to play, or if you even want to play games at all, really. If you want to do graphical processing instead of PC gaming, then you buy your parts specifically for that.
Games that are as immersive and incredibly well done, like the ones I mentioned in my argumentation, make it worth to buy a console.
Yeah, your subjectivities make it worth for you to buy a console, but there are no objective benefits that are measurable that would make it worthwhile for anybody else to buy a console. I mean, we've got games on the PC too, you know. We've got Star Citizen 2, Arma 3, we've got The Witcher 3, which is moddable on the PC. We've got Gary's Mod, Red Faction, oh god, I could go on and on and on about the games that we have. And these are all games that you've never heard of because they're on the PC, and why would you pay any mind to those on the PC?
In the end, all platforms have exclusives.
That doesn't make it right. I want console gamers to be able to play any and all games that we are able to on the PC. It's not like I'm trying to spread rhetoric about consoles that they're keeping games from the PC, yet simultaneously keeping games from the consoles. That's not my intention, and that's not the intention of anyone on the PC gaming community that I know of. The only reason we're not combating the PC exclusives are, one, because they're not technically exclusive to PC. They could easily make a console port, but for the reasons of either performance or labor, they're not going to. Or cost, of course. And two, it could be way more performance heavy on the consoles that the consoles, of course, just don't have the hardware needed in order to run those games. As I've said before, the consoles, due to its hardware limitations, it restricts innovation on the console's side of things. As I said, it doesn't make it right, it just makes it less wrong. Any gamer should be able to play any game on any platform of their own preference. But of course, first-party exclusives made by the person that puts a game on a platform that they made shouldn't be entitled to put games on other platforms as well, just for the sake of convenience. And two, games that aren't exclusive to the PC, technically, that would not run on the consoles, is also not at fault either, because they just wouldn't run on the shitty hardware that consoles have.
So I don't really see a point in blaming any of them.
Well, hopefully after hearing these arguments, now you do. That is, after all, the reason I'm making this video.
The reason I own a PS4 is definitely because of the amazing exclusive games.
And it all comes down to why consoles are better than PCs. Let me break down what this video is about. Sefraca in this video denied that consoles are anti-consumer, which, fair enough, but I would say they're anti-gamer more than anything. But she denies any negatives to the exclusives concept, but in the end she makes it a reason why she has consoles and why you should buy a console too. This was kind of a 2-in-1 video that she made here. Why consoles are better than PC, and why exclusives should be considered not an argument against the consoles.
Do you think exclusives are anti-consumer? Please let me know in the comments section.
Funny story, I actually did. And what I've noticed is arguing with you is like talking to someone who just runs away after they're shown wrong. And you never acknowledge the points that other people make. You just make the point, and then when they make their counter, you just move on to something else. Nice red herring, my dude. As the video closes, I'm going to show you my comments with Sefraca on her video, and you can read it at your own pace, because I'm tired of talking. Especially with you. Seriously, I try to argue with you, and you won't even acknowledge my points. It's stupid. Anyway, here are the first set of screenshots that I took. This is my comment strand, you know, to the left and to the right. So the left one is the first one, the right one is the one that is continued. Just take some time to pause the video and read it at your own discretion. In this part, I criticized Sefraca for not answering some of my arguments. Well, there's one argument in here that I'd like to address in this video because in the comments I did not address it. It's highlighted at the top right, you can see. She says, GamerZ Gaming, I think it was a complete nonsense that they made a Tomb Raider, I'm assuming Tomb Raider exclusive to Xbox first and then switched back to PlayStation. Nobody profits from that. Here's the dealio, though. Tomb Raider went to Xbox, and then it went to PlayStation 2, meaning it was a temporary exclusive. So why are you mad about that? You got the game. I'm getting a sense of fanboyism here, though, because if it happened to go on PlayStation first, and then to Xbox, you wouldn't be mad at all about it. Unless, of course, you're the type of person to say, oh my god, they took an exclusive away from us. Just deal with it. It's a game. You should not be mad if an exclusive is, quote, taken away from you. The only thing you should be feeling is happy. You know, feel great for the fact that other people are able to enjoy the experience you once were able to. She goes on to say, but you could also see it the other way around. I own a PlayStation, so there is no reason for me to buy a proper gaming PC. Actually, I can name at least 5 reasons why you would want to buy a proper gaming PC, and by proper I mean whatever. A big number one for me is the fact that the PC has the majority of games. Whether good, whether bad, whether in between, or whatever. They're still games. I bet you I have more games on my one PC than you have on your one console. And again, that's another big thing, is I have all my games in one place on my PC. I don't need 20 different robots in my house in order to play different sets of games. Another huge benefit for me is freedom, choices, things that you can do that don't have to be said by one company. For example, I can mod my games. I can choose Steam or Origin or GOG or Green Man Gaming or something. I can choose different clients that I want to choose from. Freedom also plays into hardware too. Choose what graphics card you want. Choose your budget. Choose what you want your performance to be. Also, it goes into in-game options. Choose how good you want your game to look or how good you want your game to run. Also, you can change INI files to change something very specific about the game. You can mod the game, etc. There are so many things you can do on PC that it's basically a huge benefit over the consoles. Mouse and keyboard support is another big deal and a reason why you should get a PC. The mouse and keyboard, as you know, the mouse being more accurate and the keyboard being more usable, is objectively better than the controller input on consoles. And because of the accuracy of a mouse and the usability of a keyboard, we're able to play more in-depth, innovative games than you can on a console. Also, we can do better in said games. Other great benefits include graphics, frame rate, and even multimedia use. Yes, a lot of people really need a computer in their house, and if not everybody, a lot of people do. And if you don't have a computer in your house, I pray for you, and I also respect you. Good job. So those are some reasons why you should be able to consider a proper gaming PC. On the flip side, I have not even a proper gaming PC. I have a laptop, a pre-built laptop without a GPU. And I'm sitting here gaming just fine. I would not trade it for a console. I would not trade it for anything in the world. I have so many benefits on the PC that even a low-end PC gamer like myself could stick to the PC. So there's still no reason why I, personally, would buy a PS4. You then ask, why should I play third-party games on different platforms? Well, why would I play any games on PS4? That's the same reason, right? Exclusives, that's why. Oh, I have to get a PS4 first. And that's what you don't understand yet. PC gamers are doing the exact same thing. They want games on their platform so they don't have to buy a PS4 first. You basically imply that it's okay for you to say, alright, I've got perfectly fine games, I've got a great variety of games on my PlayStation, why should I play any other games on the PC? When PC gamers ask it, you're like, they're not anti-consumer, they're not anti-gamer, they're not bad in any way, exclusives have always been there since day one, what's the big problem? You go on to say that it's cheap. No, not really once you look in the broader scheme of things with the online membership and the $60 games and the fact that you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade because you don't get the newer games if you do not upgrade. Yada yada yada, all these other fees tacked on to owning a console and supporting your console. Let's say, though, that you buy a $600 PC, and this $600 PC, by the way, kicks the shit out of the current gen consoles. And every game on the PC is an average of $30, maybe $20 cheaper than it is on the console. Once you take that into consideration, plus the fact that we don't have to pay for online, you can start adding it up really quickly in your head, and you spend more on console in the longer term than we do on PC in the longer term. So cheap isn't the word I would go for to describe your console, unless you're not paying a subscription and you only buy maybe 1 or 2 games, in which case, why are you getting a console? This is the exact reason why we don't get a console, especially if it's just for 1, maybe 5 or 10 games. And then you say that your console offers amazing games that you don't get on any other platform. Fair enough, I suppose. But just remember that those are the minority of games on the market ever. You say many people, me including, which is supposed to be including me, but okay, don't care if the hardware is up to date. Well, of course you don't. You're simple-minded console peasants. Why would you care if the hardware was 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, or current gen? Who cares, right? But as people who take the gaming hobby very seriously, for people who take gaming seriously as a hobby, as well as the people who invest in the tech industry and make sure that it succeeds, we want it to advance, alright? We don't want consoles holding us back all the time because they're... Why? Why would we want a console holding us back? This makes no sense. The only reason why the consoles are progressing now is because there is no other choice for them. There is no choice. The PC is just getting so far ahead that in order to compete with it, they have to upgrade their hardware, finally. As I've said before, exclusives only artificially inflate the lifespan of a console, and it's very lazy to do that. And then finally, the last thing I want to address in this comment is you say, as I already said in the video, if console gamers really cared about graphics and FPS, they'd be getting a PC. Really? You think so? JTech TV and Crap Gamer, they all say their games run fantastically on the new current gen consoles. Interesting for you to say that. So why are a bunch of people saying that the Scorpio is going to kick the shit out of a PC? Why do you think there's an argument about this Scorpio kicking the brains, the guts out of the PC when they know that, one, they haven't heard it for themselves, they haven't seen any gameplay or anything, and 2, it's not true because there are PCs right now that kicks the Scorpio's ass 6 months from now. Do you really think that what you said is true if there's the argument that I can't see past 60 FPS? Really? Well, that was a lot of talking and talking and talking from me. But, of course, that's what my channel is me talking. This video was way longer than I had anticipated since before editing this video. And also, releasing it took a lot longer than I expected as well, because I thought it would be released on Wednesday, which it was not. I ended up having to work on this video for 3 separate days, which, as you could tell, maybe caused some continuity errors in this video, which, if you haven't noticed any, then forget I said that. Anyway, I think I've taken up enough of your guys' times. Thank you all so much for watching. I thank you very much for supporting me and helping me grow as a channel and as well as a person. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, feel free to do so. It's on my channel, and I'll make another video soon. And I promise it's not going to be 2 weeks apart. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, then let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you didn't like. And if you didn't like the fact that I changed my microphone setup, which hopefully you've noticed in this video, then yeah, tell me that. Otherwise, tell me anything else. Tell me criticisms, support, feedback of any kind is appreciated. And I'm gonna stop talking now. Peace, guys.